Alright guys, so we are gonna be doing the kind of like your full breakdown of the banners, obviously. We got Gundam, we have Penelope, and we also do have the I wouldn't call it the battleship, I would just kind of call it the plane. So we have Gigi on here. So there's actually another units on here as well. We have the Messer type F naked, the Commander type. But other than that, I do want to actually start off by taking a look at Penelope first, because there's the new mechanics, the preemptive stretch. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the stats. So the status, ooh, um, how how's the stat looking like actually? So max HP, we're talking about 133,000, while defense is one 10,000 11,000, excuse me, 11,000, huh? So I want to say everything, all these stats so far are looking pretty mid-line. I wouldn't say Penelope excel in any specific directions in a way. I want to say it's more in line with some of our other defensive type units. So there's that. Detail-wise, it does have 5 mobility, so we do have that right there. And you do have access to a lot of applicable tags. You see Gundam Rivals, which is actually pretty good. Transforming units, test type, SciComm, Earth Federation, type of snails, area use, and white. So a total of 10 tags. So the more prominent one is obviously going to be type of snails, and then your SciComm. Test types, there's also a battleship, but I would definitely say the tags itself is not as fleshed out as like your other one, right? So this isn't necessarily like the most competitive tags out there. So for sometimes it wouldn't be like the best of the best. So I mean, you do have these two right here. You do have like BD1. You do have Xeon. So I mean, technically speaking, you do have you definitely do have option in that tag, but otherwise, you don't really have like your bigger names in there, so unfortunate. Sidecom, no need to explain. This is virtually housed to pretty much all the, you can say, prominent units from like the UC Sentries in a way. You can find it in this tag specifically. So any new stuff for UC probably gonna be in here. So not a bad tag. This is probably one of the better ones. But for this tag specifically, I think we are waiting for like a new limited time battleship where it boosts all the way up to 44% stat. At that point, this will be one of the better tags out there. Tablet sounds is it's not bad. Well, this is low for us, but tablet snails, I believe, this have a lot of the more durability units in here rather than like some of your attackers, whatever. But this is actually not the worst. I mean, you got Barb, probably one of the better DPS unit out there. The O, a heck of a good support unit that I will probably never pull. Yes, unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever get the O. I don't know. I don't know what it would take to get the O. At this point, I just don't know. And you also do have some of your other durability units, like this guy's kind of whatever, but you have like, what is it? This one is in here, the Death Side Hub Endless Sword version. But other than that, let's do take a look at some of the other stuff. Mechanism, you have your shield defense, so nothing too crazy right there. Weapons, let's see what's going on. Beam Saber, Beam Rifle, the Funnel Missile EX, which does have the preemptive strike on there. And we have the Funnel Missiles as well. So, Water Nerve is actually the preemptive strike. So, since I do already have a copy of it, so I went ahead and tried it out. So, the preemptive strike is actually really good during the enemy's turn because when they're attacking you, 100% of the time, they land the attack before you can land it. But for this guy specifically, at the cost of consuming 2 MP, you can actually be the first one to launch the attack, so you can be the first to actually attack down the enemy. So that is actually a very nice gestures in a way. Um, how this could actually affect battles in a way. I would definitely say you can put Penelope in a much more vulnerable situation than any of your other defensive type unit because normally speaking, for a defensive type unit, you want to lay them in in kind of like in the back where the enemy will attack your DPS unit, then within range, your durability unit will come in to support defend. But with Penelope around, depending on the enemy situation you are taking a look at, if you're taking a look at some of like the boss enemies, the one with like the glowing red aura, you might be able to chase in like a quick debuff on them then before they attack. So that is actually quite ingenious in a way. But this is just kind of how I'm looking at it at face value. I obviously haven't hopped into like some of your harder difficulty to test it out, but with a 35% debuff on the right from the get-go when the enemy attacks is actually very strong. But the other thing I do have concern about this is the fact that normally we place DPS unit in the front and defensive unit in the back in hopes that when when the enemy attacks your DPS unit, your DPS unit goes for the counter attack right after that. But instead, when you have a defensive unit up front now, you get the debuff obviously, the attack down, but you're not counter striking it with like a powerful attack. So it may cause some slow down in terms of how fast you can take down the enemy now because you don't have that one powerful counter attack. So it honestly depends, like I said again, on the situation and where you want to use this specifically. But I mean, nonetheless, this is still a new mechanic, so we'll definitely take it. So there's that. HP, we have that up obviously, and the second ability, the Monastic Flight and Beam Barrier. So when you're taking both physical and beam, you're actually reducing damage by 40%. So that's actually pretty good. So we'll definitely take that. And when Vulgar Super charge or higher, you do gain an extra movement. So that is that is gonna be very very powerful yet absurd at the same time. And you do have increased mobility just to be able to do some dodgy stuff. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely not bad. It's a gimmicky unit, and it's kind of like the test prototype in a way. So it's kind of whatever. But before taking a look at anything further, take a look at the availability as far as when this banner will expire. It goes all the way into 3 months, 3 months into the future. So, yeah, you guys can definitely wait. This is, I think they have this banner out for this long because they want to coincide with the second wave of the Hathaway Flash movie coming out in December. Is it in December or in January? I think it's either or. I forgot, but yeah, I think that's why they purposely have it for that long. So it's not bad. I would say I'm not complaining. As far as like the majority of the play base, well, you guys are in luck. You guys can definitely wait into further notice, like Christmas banner, New Year's banner, to see what is actually going on. But for me, I didn't take a look because I don't read. So I went ahead and summoned already. So I'm cooked. Yeah, genuinely cooked. But besides that, let's do take a look at lane A, if this will ever load. So, awakening stats, defensive stats are kind of whatever. I'll definitely say defensive line is a little bit low. They can't even bring this up to like upper 700s. No, they just want to stay right in the middle, and that's kind of it. And the sad thing about lane aim, he doesn't provide an additional support defense. He only had one. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. Not gonna lie. I was expecting like two support defense or something like that, but we don't get that. I think it's the I want to say it's because like they want us to put Penelope in a situation where it's the one taking attack, not receiving the attack. So that's why they did that. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that's gonna work. But Tags on laying aim. We have six. Well, that's not terrible. Why are you in? Why are you in there? Why? Isn't there like a 12-year gap? Yeah, there is a 12-year gap. Oh, you know why they want? You know why they want to involve Shark counterattack into it? Because of like there was a scene where I think they're comparing Hathaway Noah to Char or Mappy to Char, like whatever that is. So they're like, oh, let's lump them together. Why? You have one of the longest gap period in terms of like the UC century, and like let's add them in there. Sure, that makes a lot of sense. But I'm not gonna complain about that. We have attack burst, MP up, and then we have a force guard as well. So you have a pretty solid package. If you ever want your Penelope to hit hard, you do have your attack burst, and if you ever want your Penelope to guard, you have that option as well. So that is actually not too terrible. We take that. On the support defensive side, you do increase defense. Awaken is set up by 20, and when you're piloting a durability type, you actually increase own attack by 20 when countering. So that's another nice gesture about laying aim in a way. Other than that, for what was it Gundam Hathaway, you're increasing MP by 6 and reduce damage by 15. So it works pretty well with, let's say, Penelope already because it has that 40% to both beam and projectile or physical. So that's not bad. An extra slap on 5% defense right there. So there you guys go. I'll definitely say I was expecting maybe a little bit more. Two support defense would have been great, but cutting down to one is kind of unfortunate. But now taking a look at Kasich Gundam, um, only 13,400 is definitely not cutting it. I would definitely say that is like midline. Again, this is a limited time banner unit right here, and they're giving us midline stats. I don't know how I feel about that, but let's continue. We do have pretty good movement, 5, so you are going to be up to what, 6 with the addition of your own ability. So that's not bad. Okay, okay. Um, Tag wise, we have 9. UC series, Gundam, protagonist, icon, lightning fast. Okay, Asian it. Ooh, we would take that. And then area use, white and map D. So map D is a tag that doesn't really have anything right now, and I would say this tag will probably not be as good. Yep, probably won't. Yeah. Other than that, let's take a look at the weapon. We have a map attack as the missile launcher. So that's gonna be a one ammo only. What is it? Oh, it's a. How would you how would you define the attacking range of this? I don't know. I really don't know. So this is the point of use. You're right there, and you are essentially sniping only these areas. So it's kind of like a 3x4 actually. So it's not that great. I want to say I don't think it's that great. But let's continue. We have beam saber, beam rifle, the funnel missiles, and then we have the funnel missile again. Um, yeah, they get the 2 to 5 range, the better range, but lower power, while they get the EX version, bad range but higher power. So you just can't win. It seems that that is the theme. We cannot win. I hear the game loud and clear. But 7,000 is actually pretty high. And the higher your FP is, the greater the power increases. So you have that as well. So pretty, it's different, I want to say, but it shouldn't be that bad once you reach max MP. So it's not bad. Ability, we have increased attack by 15. Wow. this is up to 50%. Okay. I mean, how about we just put lame aim on you? So you have the greater defensive stat right there. That's actually really nice though. We definitely take that. And we do have the extra movement as well. And you have this advantage. Earth Federation level 2. So yeah, this is really restrictive to that, but I mean, take a look at this. The roster is huge. It it honestly just depends on what kind of enemy situation we take a look at, but I mean, other than that, I would definitely say this one is not gonna take full advantage of it when you're taking it when you are fighting non-UC stuff. So yeah, that's the very unfortunate factor. But let's move on. I mean, the abilities are kind of whatever. I feel like they're not necessarily like the greatest as far as what I'm looking at. Same thing as weapon. It seems pretty mid-liney, even on like the weapon wise. I don't I don't know if I have like a good feeling about it. We'll see. Lastly, let's take a look at Hathaway Noah. Okay, melee stat is actually a bit better than range, but then again, um, let me see. I don't know why we are lagging so much. Gotta probably reset the iPad after this, but I want to take a look at this again. So this one is a melee, range, and awakening. Gotcha. So if that's the case, we don't really care whether or not the range is higher or the melee is higher because everything's gonna get blended regardless of how you look at it. So 800 for the awakening stats, that is good. That is actually not bad. So we'll take it. Fire attacks, just kind of whatever for this one. MP level 5, wow. So you can use this one. And oh, you can, wow. Ooh. So you have 7. So 7 is kind of like a flex option for the movement, but 6 is kind of like a guarantee in a way. So that is new, right? Yeah, no, new in a sense where getting up to 7 is crazy. Okay. No, it just the way they're phrasing it. It had me thinking it's like an on-demand thing. It definitely didn't catch my attention as to it's a high speed, but it's whatever. You do have this awakening boost, so an extra 25%. That's good. Own damage style increased by 20, awakening by 25, which is already reflected on already. Extra chance step, and this could be better. I want to say because we have seen character have insane EX character ability, so it didn't make sense why they kept it on the down for a lot of these units right here, but or a lot of these pilots, but sure. And you do have a increased reaction, I guess. Um, so it's not bad overall, but I think it's one of those things I want to say it doesn't really catch my attention like the other two. Like, let's say, Morphidos, Lupus Rex, and even like God Gundam in a sense. So I will have to test it out. I gotta have to see is Conceit just the hype, or is it really that good? And lastly, we have the carrier. We have a what is it, Gigi right here. So let's kind of take a look and see what she does. So keep that in mind. She is not a limited time battleship. She's only like the standard 36% max. So you don't have to chase for her. But other than that, you do have the Hathaway, and then you have Charles counter attack. So sure, that's cool, I guess in a way. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it in terms of taking a look at the battle units and the battleship. I don't think it's anything too crazy, I would say. So with that being said, definitely do wait until Christmas because I do think Christmas may be hot. I don't know, we'll see. But other than that, that's gonna be it for me, and I will be catching you guys all on the next one.